to the fascinating thing. We have two pretty convincing wins, Mike, but we have plenty to talk about on the nuances.
Two convincing wins, Brian and Christy, and we hear that Hillary Clinton, as Christy just mentioned, will speak in about 5 minutes. So she may have won this optical race, the optics of who gets to speak first, who gets the audience that before they go to bed. So I know that you are a Hillary supporter.
Yes.
What do you think she needs to do with this speech?
Well, clearly they're all scrambling to get out there quickly before folks go to bed. You know, I think she needs to strike a tone of being a happy warrior. She was criticized pretty soundly in 2008 when she lost Iowa for having almost a seemingly bitter tone, and she needs to steer as far away from that as humanly possible tonight. She needs to sound like she's grateful to the voters of New Hampshire for the support they have shown her tonight, and that she's excited and happy to get out there and keep working and head on to South Carolina, Nevada, and belong. We can say whether or not it's sexist, debate whether or not it's sexist, the tone is so important for Hillary Clinton, but it is, and she needs to strike a positive one tonight.
Happy warrior striking a positive tone, and yet she's losing at this point, trailing, as I like to say, by 18 points.
Yeah, the numbers have not been heading in the direction that Hillary Clinton wanted. It is a really good night for Bernie Sanders. His campaign deserves great credit for that. You know, they have done some really, really strong organizing. I know people get sick of talking about the neighbor issue. You know, Nate Silver has shown that neighbors to New Hampshire get about a 15-point bump, and every time a neighbor has run over the last 30 years, they've won New Hampshire, so there may be something to that. But he won, and he deserves credit for this win, and we'll see what happens moving forward.
We'll see what happens when he speaks as well. We've seen the numbers, Jeff Simone, for John Kasich, second place. He had to do this well, and at this point it's second place. But what does that mean for him if he's got 16%, which is less than half of 33%, which is where Donald Trump is right now at 34%? What does that mean for him going forward? Does money go to him? Does it mean any kind of momentum for him going forward?
I think he limps along into the Super Tuesday primary and the SEC primary. I just, from every bit of evidence we've seen, there's not really a path forward for John Kasich after New Hampshire. He invested a lot of time after in New Hampshire to try to get a big win here. But I mean, we're seeing what, 16% is second place. I mean, that's complete opposite from where Donald Trump was last week in Iowa. I mean, that's you know, you have like between third and fifth place a 600 vote spread. So this is the, like I said at the beginning of the show, this is going to go on into the spring. And what you're seeing right now is just basically a battle of who's going to drop out from fifth place down if they're going to cling to whatever little hope that say Christie had.
All right, so go ahead.
Oh, at the risk of stating the obvious, Kasich is from Ohio. So he may not end up being the nominee, but I don't think he's going to be someone that a lot of folks, Trump aside, Trump will criticize anyone, but that a lot of folks are going to be willing to criticize because he represents a really important, hugely important swing state. And I think that he is a potential vice presidential nominee. So
there'll be a lot of talk about that, actually.
He may
because he's from Ohio.
Yeah,
yes.
You know, I don't think we should count him out, even if he's not the nominee. I think he plays a big role in this moving forward.
A likable guy for Donald Trump to have as his running mate?
Tough to get less likable than Donald. Only where to go is up with his running mate.
All right, as we look at those other candidates, Jeff, who are in this Republican field, Jeb Bush has money. He can continue. I think the last figure I saw was $66 million, so he can continue, and yet he's still in, you know, fourth or fifth place.
What you're going to see in the next few weeks is a battle among the donors and the establishment class of who to pick amongst the non-Trump Cruz candidates, and that could be Jeb Bush, could be Marco Rubio, possibly John Kasich. I don't see Kasich making it out of that simply because of the infrastructure and organization. And when it comes down to probably a Rubio-Bush race, you've got Florida in mid-March, so that's just about a month away. I mean, that's huge right there if they battle it out for Florida. And I think a Bush-Rubio contest will be a good one and a healthy one for the party.
And in the last couple of seconds here, NBC News and our partners there did project that John Kasich would finish second, so we can cement in that at this point. John Kasich at 16, Donald Trump at 34, Ted Cruz and Jeb Bush at 12%, but still you don't see a real path forward for this guy. That's interesting to hear from you right now.
I'd have to stick by that. I mean, we'll know in a few weeks, like Jesse said. The prediction business is a bad one for the 2016 cycle, but again, infrastructure money.
That's why you're here, guys.
Yeah, but infrastructure money. He doesn't have that out
he
in New
doesn't
Hampshire.
have that.
He had it in New Hampshire. He ran a great campaign in New Hampshire, but he has to continue that. And as the states get more dispersed, as we really start to roll along, especially with the SEC primary, Super Tuesday, and then you have bigger states like Florida on March 15th. I don't see where John Kasich goes in Florida.
Brian and Christy, so we're waiting for Hillary, we're waiting for Donald Trump, we're waiting for Bernie Sanders as well. It'll be interesting to see who sort of wins the race if Hillary does go first.
Yeah, I have a question for Jeff, and Jess, you can certainly take it too. For me, the fascinating thing right now, if Kasich's in second, is this tussle for third between Cruz, Bush, and Rubio. Right now it's 12-12-10, and it just keeps flip-flopping. Does the person who finishes fourth and fifth, are they done? Or what's your sense of
No,
what?
I mean, if you're looking at those numbers, there's a 600 or 700 vote spread out of probably an electorate of 250,000. So you're going down into the hundreds. Marco Rubio's got plenty of money. He can take his money, and Bush can take his money well into the spring. Not sure about John Kasich, but Chris Christie, for all intents and purposes, is probably out. He won't have a
Right.
sixth place finish after tonight, after his supposed fantastic debate performance.
Well,
Doesn't
let me put
happen.
it to you in a different way. If it's 12-12-10, who looks better then coming out of this?
Jeb Bush, without
Yeah,
question.
absolutely.
Jeb Bush he needed something to justify his campaign going forward.
And this does it?
And this does it for a while. We'll see. There's another debate on Saturday night. That's going to be a big debate. I think you're going to see big ratings.
And
Yeah.
his hope is to be the last man standing among moderates and with money.
I think he's hoping for everything he can get right now. If it's moderates, maybe some Christian conservatives. I mean, in the next week or two, you're going to see Ben Carson probably drop out, Carly Fiorina probably drop out. Even if they hang on, they're not going to get a significant proportion of the vote to make it, when it really counts in the primary states.
One thing we do know, Brian, Donald Trump is the winner, and John Kasich has been projected to finish second in this race. And that's, at this point, the only thing we know for sure.
All right, thank you. And you mentioned the Saturday debate, and certainly